Greetings. So today I'm back out with the Smith's carbine, and this is a 2024 post-production. So a viewer here, I appreciate it, told me the other day the reason mine wasn't shooting so high is because in 2024 and newer, I guess they switched over and corrected the problem of that extreme height. So here is the Eras gone 354 grain bullet. These cast out super nice, and I'm running them, and they've got that little flash hole liner in the back that I got from Northeast Supply, Pennsylvania. So I put those in, and I've got about 35 to 40 grains of powder mixed in a few of these, and I got my RWS caps in, so we are ready to go. So hopefully this is no issues firing. I did send one cap through to clear everything because I did oil up everything well after using it last time and cleaning, and I'm just going to be aiming down there, and we're going to see how we can do off of the tripod to try to see where they hit in relation to the others. I did not bring the chronograph out today because I got plenty of chrono data the other day mixed in, and I just didn't feel like having it with me as we're doing that. But I loaded up a whole slew of these. I think I got probably 50 or 60 rounds loaded right now, and I'm killing mosquitoes. But yeah, so we're gonna do that, and we'll see how this does. But this is just such a fun little carbine. It's just lightweight, easy to carry, and so we'll see. Now that one went high. No kicker charge. Touch hole liner worked fine. We'll try again. I'm going to aim at the bottom of the plane. I was aiming dead center. I did have to aim, remember last time, a little bit low, but we were only a little high, so I went right over the top. And the RWS caps came in from muzzleloaders.com, which is out of Oregon. It's like muzzle-loaders.com. So they had 200 200 pack tins. I forget how much, 34 bucks maybe at 200. Yeah, now these shoot really high actually, but they're nice big crater on there. So we had the Lee 50 cal reels, the Lyman 370 grain I believe, and then these are the 354, and that's shooting a little high. So I'm gonna do one of the reels off to the left, and I'm going to do that same hold that I did on this one, which was just off the bottom of the plate. So we're pretty high on this. It's like a 14-inch height over bore here. So this one's shooting high. Again, I'm pushing more grainage, so I'm like 35 to 40 grains of powder in here. I packed them pretty tight and snugged them down, so that's okay. But there is a pretty good climb, so I'm going to see on that reel off to the left. Yep, so there is quite a big difference between the Lee reel and that Eras gone. But I'm going to do a few more now of the Eras gone. We'll see. Now this one, I had the tape on the back using just the musket cap going straight through. So again, no delay issue with using that surgical tape on there. So that was a great idea. Again, here's one with the bushing. So I'm going to aim bottom edge of that target and see if we can't get a group out of that. A couple of these are more stout than others because I did increase the powder charge as most as I could. There's a little bit of alcohol. Yeah, so one or two of them. That one, I'm guessing I was in the same spot, but I think it kicked right over the top. So I'll show you. On here, that band is a little further out. That's more likely a 40 or 42 grain bullet, or powder charge with that bullet. Versus one that's not. So I'll show you both. Let's focus. There we go. So that silver band, that seating groove, is out. So that's about a 40 grain versus a 35 grain roughly compression difference. So I am expecting a little bit of play on there. I was just trying to see how they fire out of there. So I think the one seated to the band with 35, 36 grains is probably the better point of aim here. I'm going to do another one of these first and show that bushing again as well. So we'll do that, see what happens. And I'm still holding the same spot, so if I'm missing, it's definitely something going on with probably the difference in charge. Again, this is all volumetric measure. Now the one seated below the ring. So I'm getting very consistent groups between the two loads. Interesting. Yeah, so that previous one just missed off to the right. This one hit slightly high to the right, so let me see how that barrel is looking. Pretty good, but I'm getting some fouling about from here down. So that is, as we saw in the last video, pushing the groups a little bit. So, but yeah, nice. So I'm gonna go back to seated on the groove. Air is gone. Yeah, so I'm getting very consistent differences between those extra little grains of powder. Seated at the groove seems to be doing right. And what's interesting is the Eras bullet, there is a bulge in the, as you seat it, it goes in tighter. He does recommend in some of these to resize, but I'll tell you what, you get a much better gas seal in those versus the reels, so it feels a little just slightly stouter, a little more consistent. All right, so I'm going to do another one seated below the groove, so it should be higher up again for me. But I'm so happy to have some of these RWS caps. I actually ordered that replacement nipple from Track of the Wolf, and it got lost in the mail. To use number 11 caps, that way I have a backup in the event caps are hard to source again sometime in the future. Right now I ordered 800 of the RWS. They seem to do well. The reenactor or CCIs that are non-reenactor do not have hot enough charge to fire these, no matter how many times I tried, without a kicker charge of 4F powder. So I'm going to go back again, and in theory this one's going to hit high in that upper group. Again, I'm just hitting this with 99% pure isopro alcohol. Just keeping that color case hardened and looking really nice. All right, so I'm going to shoot this one seated on the groove, but it's a really crinkly, nasty bullet. But rather than throw it in the pot, I'm going to throw it at steel. Now that one hit actually really low, those last two seated at the groove, so. And that was through the surgical tape. So I am wondering if the surgical tape has anything to do with groups as well. And as you guys all know, in black powder, every variable you change changes what's going on. So that's tape. There's a bushing one. And I've noticed some of them fit a little tighter with the bulge, some don't, based on the powder and how much I've got in there. So this one should hopefully be, if it's following everything correctly, slightly higher in the middle group. Yep, so that was actually in the lower third group. So I've got 3 groups going. All right, this will be shot 14, and we'll see where this one goes. So in the lower third group, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And I've got 2 or 3 in the middle group, and then I've got 4 or 5 in the upper group. I've got a couple of misses, one reel, and then the other there. So yeah, so we'll see if this one, we'll see which group this goes to. Well, there we have it. So I really do like how that Eras mold bullet works, and it definitely seals the chamber well. I did not resize them, and if you look at his recommendation on that mold, you can drop them down, but man, running them tight seemed to produce a nice result. And again, that gun shoots well clean, and after about 5 shots it starts to wander a little bit, interestingly. So I've got some work cut out for me now that I've got different projectiles to use. The Lee reel, though, is probably by far the most centered one going out. It's also the loosest fit, and then, you know, it's got a little less powder. So but I'm going to show you these groups here. Let me get you spun around so I can see here. All right, so my first one from the Eras that actually hit, because the first one, remember I missed, went right over the top, was there in that top center cluster right up there. That was the first one. Then I did a second one, and then when I switched back over to the others, I went down in the center, and then I started to wander to the right. The lower 4 were the ones that I was saying, yep, hit a little low. And that was, so I got those 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, and actually, so there should be 16 or 18 total shots now with those 2 misses. But yeah, you can see right there. Nice big. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then over there we're 12 and 13 with at least the 2 misses. So anyway, there you have it. Smith carbine, absolutely fantastic, fun to shoot cartridge, black powder cartridge, I guess you would call that, with those plastic inserts. You know, I'm thinking that if you could find original gutta percha cartridges with that rubber, the India rubber, they would seal even nicer. I know people have played around with doing paper cartridges that, like they did with the originals at some point, but that rubber would probably be the ideal. But with that Eras bullet, I'll tell you what, it really does well. It smacks hard. I got, you know, close to 40 grains, and a few of them I bet you I got even more than that in there. I wasn't sure how far I could seat these out before causing accuracy issues going in there. But it looks like I've got plenty of space because that chamber depth, when you're pushing them all the way in, there's so much room to play with. So anyway, there you have it. Another fun day with the Smith carbine.